Joining me now, attorney and Democratic strategist Michelle Burton and digital director for Heritage Action, Sandra Clark. Michelle, Sandra, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
All right, Sandra, I want to start with you for the question of the day today. As you know, today's International Women's Day. It's also here in America a day without a woman. Feminists are not going to work. They're wearing red. They're protesting this so-called gender pay gap. And my question is, what exactly are they being denied rights-wise? What rights are women denied by the so-called patriarchy that they're blaming for their problems?
You know, I think today one of the better questions to ask is, what is feminism denying women? You know, the modern feminist movement is really handing women a very small set of issues, whether that be, the Equal Rights Amendment, the pay gap, looking at reproductive rights. They're handing them a very small number of issues when women care about more than that. Women care about, Obamacare and what's going to happen with their health care. Women care about deregulation so they can start small businesses. I think the real question is what is feminism denying the woman today?
And Michelle, let me turn to you almost immediately, because we see these women who are talking about the gender pay gap. I mean, if you look at the statistics, if you look past the emotional rhetoric here, I mean, not only was this legislated, was equal pay legislated in 1963, I mean, if you look at it, it comes down to choice in your life and career. It doesn't come down to some chauvinistic undertones within corporate America.
I could not disagree with you more, Liz. Being a woman lawyer who runs my own law firm and being a professional woman, the pay gap is no secret. It's out there. Women make far less than men do for the same job and have been fighting to get this wage gap closed for over 20 years. So I don't know where these statistics are coming from, that there's no pay gap or that women should make different choices in their lives.
No, I'm not arguing that women. I'm not arguing that women should make different choices. I'm saying I look at the Bureau of Labor Statistics and I see that women who are computer programmers make the same as men who are computer programmers. I look at the Bureau of Labor Statistics
because now, women have made some strides. There are many professions.
Right.
There are not enough women CEOs around. Even in my profession, women make, far less than a male will make for doing the same exact type of work.
But that's what I would argue. I don't think it's the same exact, and Sandra, you can jump in here, but I don't think it's the same exact situation. Yeah. I mean, again, to refer to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, men who work full-time work an average of 2 more hours per week than women do. Women take time off after their, it's statistics from the Bureau of Labor Statistics.
No, that is completely false. Many, many women that I personally know have to work more hours to prove themselves and still go home, take care of the kids, make dinner, do all of the extra things on top of doing their jobs. So, there are several men that are working less hours these days and making more money.
Certainly, and no disrespect no disrespect meant to women who work hard. I work hard, Michelle, you work hard, Sandra, you work hard, but the statistics do show that on average women work less hours than men. But Sandra, go ahead and jump in here.
Yeah, so one of the really exciting things is, we're seeing with the millennial generation coming up. With them, we're seeing 37% of women are having bachelor's degrees. Where in that same thing, you're only seeing about 29% of men with bachelor's degree in those first couple years. So, there's exciting things coming out of millennials getting more education. Women within the first 2 years of their professional job are coming out at about 7% higher in salary than a lot of men are. So it is exciting to see. There is no denying that there are problems, but it is exciting to see the next generation coming up. And I think with things like women boycotting going to work today, they're denying young women a chance to get educated. And so, what more could we be doing? What would be more progress than saying, instead of boycotting work today, can we all ask for a pay increase? Or can we all go to our boss and say, I want to learn one practical skill?
Let me interrupt here, because many women do go to their bosses and ask for a pay increase. Okay, the Lilly Ledbetter Act was put into place and the legislation passed because she found out that she was making a ton less than her male counterparts at Goodyear. So these things still go on today, and just because you go to your boss and you say, I want to get a raise, that doesn't mean that your boss has to give it to you. There are no protections for women. And there's nothing
let me
ask
you to the
you
solution.
have to pay a woman the exact same wage as a man for doing the exact same job. So when you're comparing apples to apples, women, all they're asking for is to be paid the same amount for the same work.
Right, and that's what, and I agree with you. I mean, I work in a man's world too. I know it's not easy. There are certainly individual instances of sexism. No one's denying that. We've all experienced it. We're all going to experience it until the end of time because men and women are flawed. We're flawed people. But Michelle, let me ask you about the solution here. Instead of, I guess, aside from the cultural changes that need to be made, the individual changes that need to be made, how do you even put that into legislation? Because so much of the pay gap, the 77 cents on the dollar, that's looking at the whole thing holistically. That's looking at all industries. That's looking at all the number of education, or it's not looking at the number of years of education, the number of years of experience. How do you legislate that in a way that would satisfy your concerns?
Well, for one, the legislation would probably actually pass if more women got into office and were involved in passing the legislation. Number two, you know, it's easy just to have a law to say if you hire one person and you're paying them X, and you hire another person, and there's a man and a woman, they're doing the exact same job description, they need to be paid the same.
What if they have different experience? What if they have different degrees or they've been in the field for a different amount of time?
Well,
people aren't rubber stamps of each other.
I agree with that. I agree that there would be some difficulties with that. I do agree that in certain professions, you know, there's always going to be a difference. But what I'd like to see is that more and more women are earning more and more based on the work that they perform that is comparable to men's and equal to men's, and that they're actually being paid for that work, the same amount. Not given the reason that, you know, oh, we're not going to pay you more because, you know, you're a woman. I've had that situation
ladies,
in my own life.
anybody watching this television right now, if you're told by an employer that you're not getting paid more because you're a woman, that's against the law as it currently stands in 1963. That should not be happening, and you have recourse against that.
That is true, but I have had situations at my prior law firm where I was told that I wasn't going to make, you know, as much money as my male counterpart because my male counterpart had a wife and kids that, you know, he had to take care of. That was a reason that was given. So
right, and that's awful. Good for you for leaving. Good for you for leaving that. The free market got the last word. Sandra, let me give you the last word before we run out of time here.
Yeah, so Morgan, I thought you brought up a really great point about getting more women to run for office. This is an exciting thing to see women engaging in the political process, but you know, we shouldn't just be focusing on women's issues. There are so many issues that women should be focusing on, of creating a thriving economy so you and your kids can have better jobs, so that we can enable those free market principles. I think the mission is in a good place, but the tactics are wrong. And so we really need to empower women to get involved in the political process and care about more just than the small issue of feminist issues that they've been handed.
Right, and I think on that case, the three of us, I think we all agree. More women should run for office. Thanks, girls, for being here. It was great to talk to you.
Thank you.
All right, guys.